guys, welcome to Family Create. I hope you're all doing well. So in this video, we'll show you a comparison of OnePlus Watch 3 and Galaxy Watch Ultra's fitness tracking capabilities. We'll also show you how the watches perform, how the information is collated and presented both during and after completing an workout activity. We'll also share the available information on the phone's app for both watches as well. So let's get started.
So in the case here, I've just completed a 30 plus minutes of a treadmill run, and I wanted to show you how the information is presented, how the data looks. For me, that's very important, the data, how you analyze the data. My usual criticism of the Galaxy watches are the data, the way it's presented data on the watch isn't that great. Just think it's very basic. One of the reasons why I also prefer the Fitbit, I've said in the past, probably in some videos, I prefer the Fitbit because of the information. So yeah, that's my one of my criticism of the Galaxy watch is that I just don't like the way they present the data. It's just my opinion. Anyone watching may disagree, because for you it may be just fine, but that's just how I see it. Anyway, so let's do this one first, Galaxy Watch Ultra. So I'm going to go into the health, and I'm going to go into the workouts this week. Obviously from there you can see all the different workouts, but we're focusing on just one particular workout here for this video. So you can see this one here, 38 minutes 47 seconds was a treadmill run, which covered 3.40 kilometers. So let's go in there, and this is exactly the information you get after the workout's completed. And obviously in this video we'll also show during the exercise what the information looks like as well. So what you have is the distance you've covered, the time, the speed, and then the calories you burned during that exercise. And then what you get the speed, which is, as it says here, 5.2 kilometers per hour. Yeah, I mean, it's a slow run, it's a fat burn run really, so I'm running at a particular heart rate zone, so it's not like right at the top. So yeah, don't expect I should be showing high heart rates, no. So yeah, this is, you get the speed here, you get the heart rate. So average heart rate, as you can see, 127 beats per minute. Maximum for that particular run was 136. So as you can see here, I tried to keep it consistent. So that's almost heartbeat throughout the whole run was kept at a particular zone. And then you can see here those zones broken down, so how much time you spent in each of the heart zones. So you can see majority of my time was spent on zone 3, 37 minutes, and then some 20 seconds on zone 2, and then 50 seconds on zone 1 is probably when I was starting up. And then nothing on zone 4 and nothing on zone 5. This is a more higher rate. Okay, so that's intentional. I want you to stick to that zone throughout the entire run. So you get that information, and this is it. And the next thing is you can view the information you just on the watch. You can view them on the phone. So let's quickly have a look at the phone, and then we'll come to the OnePlus. So I'll just quickly take this one out of my hand. And again, I think I'm going to cover here. Say if I was to set up, pretend if I'm doing a run right now, and if I go into treadmill. Okay, let's start a run. So what happens? What sort of information do you get to see? For this one here, you get this first screen where you have the duration, distance, steps, calories, maximum heart rate and speed, and then you got this heart zone indicator here at the bottom with the heart rate. You can change these, and you can customize this as well if you want to have different type of information there than what is showing, but the layout will be more or less the same. This is the next screen. So for example here, I just want to look at the steps, calories and distance I've covered, and that's always there. The heart zone is always there. So yeah, here I just want to focus on this, so I could just keep you on that, and at a glance I can see what I'm doing during the exercise. And then the third screen here will show you average heart rate, your maximum heart rate, and then you get that zone. This white dot here will be at the zone where you're at, depending on what your heart rate is. So currently obviously it's just taking the heart rate out through my finger now, and it'll tell you, because I've set the heart rate to be at a particular zone, it will tell me if I'm below that zone or if I've gone above the zone. So I'll get voice guided instructions too, so I'll know if I should slow down or if I need to up my pace. So that's basically all you see on the watch. And then obviously you can still control your music if you wanted to. On the other side you can obviously do some stuff to do settings. You can pause, exercise, and here you can change things like workout screen. So let's have a quick look. So you got the screen one that we looked at, that had lots of information. Again, if I tap there, see here, this is all the information that I'm seeing, and then I can select something. So if I tap this, I can then change it to something else. These are all the stuff there. So I think I've got more or less the stuff I need. Yeah, and then it tells you, how each of the screen looks. So this is that one with the maximum number of information. Then you can have less, and these are the layouts. That's all. Latest screen 2. So that's the one where we looked at the steps and things. You can decide to display them or not. If you just turn it off, it won't display that screen. So let's say if I go back now, will it display that screen? See, it won't. So because I want to display that screen, I will go and change that workout screens. And then heart rate zone. So if the heart rate, if you don't want to see that, see now the third screen which at the big heart rate zone, it's not there anymore. You only have those two screens. So those are the things you can do. Actually, let's quickly put that one back on. Other than that, you got things like heart rate zone. See here, you can set your heart rate zone. So mine is based on what I want to do. I don't want to push it to maximum or anything, so I'm staying there. And you can customize based on your own requirements. And then the watch, as I said, will tell you if you are below the zone or above the zone. So that's kind of good. And then pick the audio guide if you wanted to. Always on screen, it should be on when you're doing exercise. So, and then exercise power saver, I've just turned it off because I want to make sure there's nothing getting in the way when I'm doing exercise. I want to collect all the data and not lose anything. So that's how the information looks like on the Galaxy Watch. And I'm going to finish this exercise. And as you can see, stuff that we already showed. Okay, so now we're going to quickly head over to the phone and see what the information looks like on the phone. So for that, you need to go to the Galaxy Health. So you can see here that treadmill. Obviously, this is the one we were just playing about with here. But the one I was showing earlier is the one we want to have a look at. So if I go into, probably have to go to workouts this week now. If you go there, I'm going to delete this one because that's nothing. Let's get rid of it. Okay, so this is the one we were showing on the watch before. So if I go in there, just to see the type of information you see here compared to what you see on the watch. So you can see here, you've got the workout details, okay? So you've got a screen here, screen there, and you've got a screen there, and some notes. So if I go into this one, you kind of get a lot more information. You know, you get the duration, and you can't tap any of them, but you just get to read what's actually happened in the exercise. So all the information is there. How many steps you took, what speed, heart rate, you can see here. Tap on the little eye and it'll tell you about this particular exercise. So calories burnt during active exercise, not much information really. And then in the chart, you get speed. You can actually change them. So you get speed, you can get cadence, and you got heart rate. So you can see different types of information you want to see the graph. And that's about it really. And you can select which one you want to see, heart rate or cadence. I'll leave heart rate. That's really that. Split, these are the different sort of times, distances. I guess each of the kilometers that I did. So I did 3 kilometers and plus obviously more than 3 kilometers. So it's counting like 4 kilometers really. But you can see here the distance covered, time it took me to complete each kilometers, and speed. And then heart zone that we showed on the watch. With the heart zone, you got the maximum, you got the heart rate reserve. The maximum you can see here during that exercise, that was there. My heart rate was consistently between those zones. I kept it there. And then you get more of a sort of breakdown here. Zone 3 tells you the time you spent on that zone and the percentage. So total was 95.3 in that zone. And the others obviously, I didn't really got much in there. And then you have a heart rate recovery here. In terms of heart rate reserve, you get that information as well. And then if I go back, that little eye just tells you, this isn't anything from the exercise, but this is just telling you how that information is. So the different zones, what you expected. So for example, what's good? So zone 3, intense but exhausting. Stuff that tells you best for weight loss and things like that. So then you got all this. I mean, there's a lot of information like you can see here regarding the different types of heart zone, resting heart zone. Okay. And again, you can get more information about your heart rate recovery and recording your heart rate. I'm not going to go too much into this. So that's that really. And then you can see all the other sort of workouts you did as well, which is all good. It's all there. Calories again, it showed on this particular run 209 calories. Interestingly, the OnePlus Watch showed more, which is what I feel like was more accurate anyway. But these are just other information. I mean, the Samsung Health app on the phone is actually quite good. I like it. You know, I like all the various information, the way it's displaying all the stuff you can do. So all that's really good. So we looked at the Galaxy Watch Ultra, and now I'm going to do the same thing for OnePlus Watch, because I had the watch one on my right wrist and the other one on my left. So let's see, how did the OnePlus Watch 3 capture this information? So to see that, if I just go into tap in the bottom button, you see these two dots. You can pick your workout you want to do a particular workout now, or if you go to swipe this way. You can see the other previous ones that you've done workout. So I'm gonna go into today's one, and you see this information here. This is really interesting. So this is showing a fat burn run, and it's telling me how much calories I burned during that run as well. So 313 calories it burned. You can see here it's telling you like how much fat you burned during that and how much sugar you burnt. So 48.5 grams of sugar, yellowy one, and then the orange one 13 gram. And then if you scroll down, you get this other information here, which is the fat burning efficiency. You get a score. It's rated that particular run at very good, 81%, and it's indicated by that green bar there. And then you get a breakdown like you saw on the other watch as well. But the level of information you get here is so much more than what you get on the Galaxy Watch. So on the OnePlus Watch, you get an overview. This is all directly on the watch, obviously, as you can see. Distance covered, duration you run for, active calories, steps burned. Steps, by the way, I thought both watches were quite similar in terms of how many steps you calculated. Calories burned, average fat burning rate 20.1 gram per hour, it says. And average sugar burning rate 75.3 grams per hour. And then you have all of this information. You have the pace. You can see a nice graph there. And then you have the breakdown for each of the kilometers. So I ran 3 kilometers. And obviously a bit more. So you get the 3 kilometers here, and then the fourth one, which we didn't complete, where you can see pace for each of the kilometers. It's just nice. And then you have the heart zone. So you can see here it's really nice again. Red light. Once I reach my targeted heart zone, I stayed there more or less all the way through, which is you can see here between 100 to 100 to 160, so it's about 130-ish, that sort of range. That was my target. So you can see here anyway, average 125 beats per minute, and the highest I went was 135 beats per minute, and I didn't want to go any higher or any lower. And then nicely here presented, you got the heart rate zones. So you can see, and again, I prefer this as well, better than the Galaxy Watch, because I think the different colors just looks more, I don't know, it's easier to read, and I guess it distinguishes the different heart zones. Rather, the one the Galaxy Watch, they all sort of, it's a different shade of orange, which I prefer this one then, definitely. So warm up 1 minute, 35 minutes and 16 seconds were in the fat burning zone. Endurance was 1.22, and then the other areas I didn't really go because obviously I didn't push my heart to go to those other ones. But in terms of the other information, again, you're getting this on the watch. You don't get this on the Galaxy Watch, on the watch itself. So you got the ground contact balance, excellent. It's giving you left, right, how much percentage, ground contact time. To be honest, look, I'm not a professional runner or anything, so I don't really use much of this data very much, but it's really nice to have all this information there. Vertical oscillation, and then you got the cadence, how many steps per minute I ran, as you can see, or walked. And then you got the stride length, and then you can view more data on the phone app. But before I go to the phone, just like I did with the Galaxy Watch, I want to pretend to do a run, and I want to show you the different types of information you get. Firstly, so if I go back, and if I said, and you got different options, and which I want to show you, there's different types of run you can do, and it shows you different type of information as well. So I may just show you one of the previous workouts, but let's look at one of them here, the one I did today, for example. So if you do this one, and then you're ready to go, it asks you to select the type of run you're doing. So indoor, outdoor, I'll say indoor. And then when you're ready, again, I want to show this because this is really good, because I find it quite motivating. You're presented to this screen, and then you go, because my heart zone obviously is very low at the moment, as you can see. I'm in the blue zone. I should really be on the green zone. As you can see, this animated arrows pointing, this is the zone I need to be in. So if I'm in my right heart zone, this will light up green, and the arrow will be there depending on where my heart rate is. And then if I'm going too fast, I'm going to come into this zone here, and it's going to tell me to slow down. And if I'm here, it's telling me to go faster because I'm not in my zone. Other than that, on this particular screen here, you go, again, you can customize what information you want to see here. So I want steps, heartbeat, and the duration, and the kilometers, so how many kilometers I've run here. So this is the information I see on the first screen, and then you can see these dots here. There's other screens as well you can view. So if we go down, if I rotate the crown, you can see here, this is the second screen. Again, this will tell me if I'm in the zone. So if I'm here, it's telling me again faster. If I was in my right zone in the middle, it would say in optimal zone and things like that. So, and how many calories I burnt here, I can see. Well, I burnt 1 calorie doing nothing other than talking. And you get to see the fat burn, sugar burn, heart rate. And then the next screen is about the ground contact balance and things like that, which I don't really have anything at the moment. And then the final screen here will show you what heart zone you're currently in. So there's a lot of information you go here. It's really nice to know when you're running and you're having a quick look at the watch and zone you're in, and it's telling you where you need to be, and you're in the fat burning zone or whatever zone. So that's really good. And then also, you can control your audio as well if you're listening to music while you're running. And then here you can stop this, and workout of less than 50 meters will not be saved. And this workout, which is good because I don't want it to be saved. Okay, so there'll be no record of that. But what I said earlier was I wanted to cover one of the previous run. Let's do this one, indoor run. So one I showed you before was a fat burning run, and this is an indoor run. Again, it was about 32 minutes. This one just over 30 minutes. So you get all the kind of information, steps, fat burn, etc., etc. And then you get the pace. You get the each pace for each of the kilometers, heart zone, and then you can see how this one was. So this one I pushed myself a bit more, and I went to higher zones, and you get that information. And just maybe do one. It was an outdoor walk, really, a GPS work I think it was, but it was just a test. So this one, because it's an outdoor walk, you get elevation and stuff like that as well. I think this was an auto started. So this is what you get on the watch of the OnePlus. And I have to say, I really prefer this over the Galaxy Watch's information any day. It's nice to look at. This is so much more information. I don't know why Samsung information can't present something similar. Sorry, coming back to the phone. If I go into the OnePlus Health app, and if we look at the today's run that we did, so if I go to records, and then you can see all the other previous records here as well. So if I go into today's one, let's see. So the information we just saw on the watch, all the information is all there as well, all the duration and stuff like that. And then you get to see here more as well, like what we already saw on the watch, our running form. And again, there's a little eye that tells you about running form. So you can read more about this if you wanted. And it tells you ground contact balance, excellent. I mean, all this information was already on the watch anyway. But what happens here is, this is the bit you don't get on the watch. Well, kind of. So you got the advanced assessment bit, which I think is really good. So you get see an arrow here that's pointing. We got more information there. So if I went to fat burnt 13 grams, it says 37%. If I clicked on there, you got more information here. You can see percentage of fat burnt, average, and sugar burnt, and all sorts of things like that. And then you get the graphs, and it's explaining to you how the energy score works. And to us, there's lots of information. The little information that is presented here, I found this more useful than a lot of information. Sometimes you get the Galaxy's Watch's Health. Sometimes it's too much information, means you can't focus on what you really want to know. I found I learned more about being in the right heart zone and things like that through OnePlus Watch. So you got that information here. Then if you go into this tab here, you can see fat burning efficiency. So you saw the score on the watch before. Now you can see it here as well. Look, it's excellent, and you can see that little line showing where I stayed throughout my run. Total workout time and high efficiency fat burning time was 31 minutes 34 seconds. I was in that high efficiency burning zone, hence the score. And it tells you about fat burning efficiency. So it says, look, fat burning efficiency measures percentage of your workout time spent on an optimal fat burning heart rate zone. For an effective workout, aim to keep your heart rate in the zone for at least 30 minutes, which is what I done. And then you get up little scores. So if I didn't do as much, or if I went between the different zones, my score wouldn't be as high, and I would probably say you need improvements, and you give you a score like here. So 50 to 69 is good, 70 to 89 is excellent, which is what I got here, and then 90 to 100 is professional, which I haven't reached yet. And then aerobics effectiveness. My running, obviously, as you know, was on a particular heart zone, so it was very low in intensity. It's giving me a score of 1.0, which is, I think it's fine, because I was in the very low zone. I didn't intend to push the heart so much. And if I did, like I did in some of the other exercises, that score I would have come up here. So I've been around 3 point something before, and I really push myself. And then it tells you the level. So for example, this one is very low intensity exercise. Health benefits are limited. So it tells you each of these, depending on what you want to do and how you push it, it's kind of telling you, and this will change. And then the cardio one as well, there's no content here because the run I did, it did not push enough, so there's no content. But some other times I've run and it can give me a score, like it said good, my cardio level, fitness level was very good, or something like that. So that will, it'll indicate here. It tells you about cardio fitness as well, which is really useful. Information about VO2 max as well. So there's been a couple of runs I did sometimes, and I got VO2 max score as well. But I think VO2 max score is more like something when you do an outdoor run. And then finally here you have the pace, which we've already seen. It's telling you more about that. If I go back again, the other information we saw is all there, like the 3 different kilometers. You can see that we ran, and all the pace and stuff like that. and then heart rate, and then you can see by tapping on the little eye, it tells you about heart rate zones. And I found this information really good, really useful actually. It taught me more about this than I ever knew. So again, it's really good information to use, and from there I decided actually which zone I want to run in, depending on what I want to do. So that's that particular exercise, and if you wanted to delete it, you can. If you wanted to share it, you can share your information. So if I go back, and then you got previous ones as well. You can just get a week summary, I think, or month. I obviously haven't had the watch long enough, but you get the breakdown here, how much time you've run for and all that kind of stuff. You can see here which days. This is a week one, by the way, so you can see each day how much you run, duration, and then you can see calories burnt, and you can see shorts. But you can also see by burnt, so how much energy you burnt and calories you burnt and stuff is there. And then these are the active sessions, you can see here, and then you can view this by month, by year, but let's just say that for now. One more thing, if I typed all, if you wanted to also filter, like say you do different types of exercises or workouts, you could actually filter that particular information. You don't have to see everything for everything. So workout, run, whatever it may be. So I can see if I did any walks. As you can see, that information is there. And then when you're here, that's the main page of the health app. But you can set goals. So if I set goals, you can do all that here, and you get your heart rate. So this is quite an overview of the health app, details of heart rate. So it's got recent resting heart rate. So if I say that, it'll tell you about this, it'll tell you about the resting heart rate, and then the sleep benchmark. Quickly have a look at the sleep tracking. I think the sleep tracking on this watch is great, simple. Pixel Watch is good, I have to say, but this is comparable to Pixel Watch, but definitely better than Galaxy Watch, no question about it, in my opinion. There's a lot of information here, breathing problems and stuff like that. Yeah, help, maybe sleep tracking is for another day. So I just wanted to share this information. This is just showing how the watch presents the data, collects the data when you're doing a workout, and then what kind of data you have on the watch as well as on the phone as well. So I hope this has been quite useful in terms of, if you're interested in that side of the watch. I mean, this is something that interests me as well when I'm looking at buying a watch, is how the information, what kind of information can I see. Personally, I like seeing lots of graphs and things on the watch. Some people may not like it. I just think Samsung's a bit bare bones. Pixel Watch, again, I've got it here. Obviously, it's not here right this second, but the information is quite good. There's a lot of information you can see on the watch, like days, how well you've done in a week. You can see all that information on the watch. So I personally I don't want to be reliant on my phone all the time. I don't want to go into the phone app to see all of this. If possible, why not see this information on the watch? So I'm sure the OnePlus Watch can still improve. There's a lot more to improve on this watch as well, in terms of how it shows the health information, and maybe a software update will bring some of those. Let's see. But at least for now, I hope you find this video useful. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.
So that's all for today, guys. I have included this footage of both watches in action while exercising. You can see the difference in recording data from both OnePlus Watch 3 and Galaxy Watch Ultra. While you watch, I'll say my goodbyes. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you find the video helpful and informative. If you have, please do give it a like and support us by subscribing. Until next time, do take care. Bye-bye.
So 3,207 steps on the Ultra and 3,227 on the OnePlus steps. Hearts 124 on the OnePlus and 127 on the Ultra. So there are other screens, but I'm on the Fitband run. So it's really good. It's on the, if I go beyond my current zone, it will tell me to slow down because I need to stay slower. So I need to be in the middle, so I'm in the right zone for efficient fat burning. So these are kind of information you don't get on the Galaxy Watch. It just stays. This is really helpful, I find. See, whereas on that watch, can you see? So this is the kind of screen you get on the Galaxy Watch. So it's not much really. You get this one, where you got all the information, duration, distance. You can customize what you see there, and then you got the heart zone. and then this one which gives you a bit more closer information, and then this one just focus on the heart zone, average heart and maximum heart range during the exercise. That's all you get, whereas this one's more motivating because it will tell you, guide you to stay in the right zone. Like it's asking me to slow now, go slower because I'm on the one above my heart zone, which as you can see here, I'm on the endurance stage at the moment. So definitely for this kind of stuff, definitely the OnePlus Watch wins over the Galaxy Watch any day.